Got the burpees. Got the burpees. Somebody burp the baby. But yeah, get y'all tuned in on what I got going on. So I hope y'all like the new logo. I've been at this whole week, man. I'm just getting my little stuff together, but it sounds crispy. Hope y'all appreciate what I got going on. But to keep y'all updated with what's going on out there. So most people don't get it in until I kind of try to give it to you in a different perspective. But yeah, yeah. But the
Alaska's news source.
Crews from local and state governments, as well as help from volunteers and the military, are continuing to clear debris and hazardous waste from the now hundreds of Juneau properties officials say are damaged in Tuesday's historic flooding along the Mendenhall River. Olivia Nordyke spoke with city officials today and joins us now with the latest on recovery efforts. Olivia?
Joe, city officials say they're preparing for the worst as they find more and more damage in last week's historic flooding in the Mendenhall River. The Suicide Basin release early last week broke last year's flooding record and has caused more damage than the city initially expected. Deputy City Manager Robert Barr says last year's damage was caused mostly by bank erosion. He says the water in this year's flood was a foot higher than last year. Barr says he estimates nearly 300 homes are impacted this year as the governor's state disaster declaration continues.
As far as overall damage goes, we unquestionably experienced significantly more damage this year than last year. That's
Last week, Juneau officials were preparing for the worst.
The water completely inundated my house.
Last week, Juneau officials were preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. A week later, they're getting deeper into recovering from flood damage.
We just didn't have a good sense of how many homes were going to be impacted, and our best estimate at that time was certainly over 100, but we didn't really have a better sense. And we did finish damage assessment work and have a number now, so 290 residences are what was impacted.
Last year's record-breaking crests of nearly 15 feet were topped again this year, almost a foot higher than in 2023. After Governor Dunleavy issued a disaster emergency last week, the National Guard was dispatched to the city, as many are dealing with extensive damages.
There weren't as many homes impacted last year, and the type of damage was different. The homes that were impacted last year, it was less of a flooding issue and more of a bank erosion issue.
Deb Johnston, a homeowner in Juneau, says she's had to remove insulation, flooring, and drywall from her house. If yearly flooding continues in Juneau, Johnston says she won't be replacing broken pieces with anything fancy, but she will not leave.
But this is my house and my home, and I'm not in a position either emotionally or financially to abandon it and try and find something else.
Johnston says she's grateful nobody she knows was harmed, but still needed to grieve the home she created.
The thought of basically starting all over. I had just moved into this house 4 years ago and replaced all the floors and all the bathrooms in here.
Officials say more than 100 volunteers were helping in Juneau on Saturday. The director of Parks and Recreation says more help is needed.
I think it's going to be a long recovery. It's a small town and there were a lot of homes that were damaged.
In Salem faced charges after police found them with guns and vandalizing a park. At 2:30 yesterday morning, a neighbor called to report a group of boys spray painting graffiti on the fencing at Hoover Park on Savage Road Northeast. Officers discovered 4 teens who ran from them and got away in a car. The car with 3 16-year-olds and 1 14-year-old was stopped blocks away. 2 of the teens had outstanding warrants. 2 handguns were found inside the car. All 4 boys were arrested and sent to the Marion County Juvenile Department, where they face unlawful weapon and trespassing charges. They'll
A woman is dead and a family left without a home after a fire on Indy's east side. It began around 4 a.m. yesterday in a duplex near 19th and Drexel. Fire investigators tell us the woman who died was inside the half of the duplex that burned. Neighbors tell 13 News she was in her 60s and lived there for some time. In the other side of the home were 2 adults, 2 children, and a dog. They're all okay. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Arson investigation on the west side.
According to Indianapolis Fire Department, he barricaded himself inside of a house Saturday evening after setting his home and a car on fire. This all started with a domestic incident on Mount Street that's near Michigan Street and Belmont Avenue. When firefighters arrived to fight those flames, things got worse and quickly. They say as the home burned, a 58-year-old man barricaded himself inside, blocking that front door with a dresser.
Eventually, police and firefighters had to force their way in, but IFD says as they fought the flames, the man inside the house still wouldn't leave. So police officers went in, put him in handcuffs, and were able to pull him out. He was placed under arrest.
Get uplifted together today. I'm reminded and hey, let's get uplifted together today. I'm reminded of that old saying, charity begins at home. Have you heard it? When highlighting the efforts of a young boy in Alexandria, Virginia. And here at Get Up DC, we are so inspired by 8-year-old Everett for organizing this icy stand to not only cool off his neighbors, but to also help first responders in his community. You see him showing up for him too. The response was just awesome. With temps almost hitting 90 degrees that day, it was a couple of Saturdays ago. The refreshments were a big hit. Everett had the idea of setting up an icy stand with the goal of donating 50% of his earnings to the Fairfax County Fire Department. Look at them showing up. Yeah. Everett's best friend, Penny, hi Penny, got in on the fun too. She said, You know what? I'll bake some homemade Rice Krispie treats to sell. So Everett and Penny together raised exactly $281.
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot.
And as promised, half of that went to the fire department. With ices being $2 and Rice Krispie treats selling for just $1,
Yeah.
that was really impressive.
Sure
So
is.
Everett's mom, Angela, says that he was inspired to give back to the fire department after they were so kind to him when he broke his arm. He just wanted to do something kind for them. So you see how it just
Beautiful.
reverberates.
Yes.
Big
kindness,
hearts.
spread it on.
So much
That's
to
a very
learn
big
from
That's
heart.
right.
children.
Students across Central Florida heading back to class for the first day of school.
And after an anxious few days, that includes 2 Orange County middle schools that the district says were in danger of not getting the necessary permits in time. The schools are Howard Middle, which is in the middle of a big renovation project, along with Luminary Middle near Lake Nona, one of 3 brand new schools opening today. Mark Lehman is live at Howard Middle School. And Mark, this construction had a lot of parents worried about the first day of school.
Yeah, the school being open was very much in doubt until just yesterday. Even this morning, we're still seeing construction that's ongoing, including road work here outside of the school. This could be causing some issues for parents who are relieved that the first day of school is actually happening this morning. After weeks of uncertainty at 2 Orange County middle schools, parents finally got the call they've been waiting for.
We have received the necessary approvals for faculty and staff to return to campus today to prepare for our students to return to school tomorrow, Monday, August 12th.
Howard Middle School, which is in the middle of a $36 million renovation project, cleared inspections over the weekend. The same goes for newly built Luminary Middle, which also got its certificate of occupancy, holding its open house just yesterday.
When I got the notification today that the school was going to be done in time, I felt relieved and I felt like I could actually go to school now.
The district says construction delays put the start date at both schools in jeopardy.
Well, I was panicking. Everybody else was pretty calm about it, but I was starting to get worried.
And while minds have been put at ease, the district says the situation also requires a closer look. Orange County Superintendent saying she doesn't want to see anything like this happen again.
We've never had it cut this close, ever. And so I want to know, what is it that we could have done differently? Where we do hold our contractors accountable.
Tonight in Virginia, Loudoun County deputies say a PTO president funded her lifestyle of luxury after with thousands of dollars she embezzled from the organization.
Deputies charged 45-year-old Kimberly Medina of Ashburn with embezzlement. Investigators say she stole at least $83,000 from her own parent-teacher organization.
Matt Gregory has looked into this. And Matt, what exactly tipped off deputies here?
Guys, this looks like old-fashioned curiosity by the members of the Moorfield Station Elementary Parent-Teacher Organization. In 2023, two of the other members felt something just wasn't right with the PTO's checkbook, and a closer look found thousands of dollars missing and thousands of dollars reappearing in the PTO president's personal checking account. According to court documents, for several years, Kimberly Medina served as the president of the Moorfield Station Elementary Parent-Teacher Organization. In December of 2023, other members of the PTO started noticing issues with the group's financing, namely that the only person with access to the PTO's bank account was Medina. The paperwork says that when the members looked into the account, funds were missing and that someone wrote several large dollar amount checks from the account to Miss Medina's personal account. And that's when they got Loudoun County deputies involved. Investigators tracked down the bank statements and they found from February of 2023 to September of 2023, numerous checks went from the PTO account to Medina's personal bank account. From that personal account, investigators concluded Medina spent the money on numerous Royal Caribbean cruises, shopping, including on Amazon.com. In total, investigators say that Medina stole roughly $83,000 from the PTO account to spend on her, quote, lifestyle of luxury. Medina turned herself into police in August, and she's due back in court on the 4th of September.
Ooh, that's a lot of money, Matt. All right, so do we know if this public money was spent?
Yeah, so this is not public money, right? This is private funds, rather. So she was not employed by the Loudoun County Public School District. PTOs are these independent private entities of the district. So no, it was just privately raised money that was spent by Ms. Medina.
All right.
Randy, Montgomery County leaders along with state and federal law enforcement officials addressed an online scheme that has left victims in the county out of millions of dollars. DC News Now's Kevon Dupree was in Rockville today, and he heard from a recent victim about how they lost money.
The state's attorney's office says Montgomery County is one of the hardest hit areas of this international gold bar scheme. There are currently 5 people facing charges, and nearly $3 million have already been lost.
Unfortunately, it's been hard on everyone.
Laura says her aunt was one of the people who fell victim to what police and others call the gold bar scam. They say the operation involves a group of people posing as government officials. The accused thieves contact someone by phone or online, convincing them to convert their money into gold bars for safekeeping. At least one of the imposters meets the victim to pick up the gold bars. They take them away and the money they're worth.
I can't comment on the exact amount, but it's definitely sizable.
For Laura and her family, there's more than money at stake.
We are worried because she is in jeopardy of losing her house and any of our housing.
Laura's aunt feels responsible for putting the family at risk, and she's not the only one.
I wish I would have noticed the signs and the little things like her acting a little bit more secretive, because I feel like maybe if I had talked to her or maybe I had paid more attention, that, I might have been able to prevent this.
It's likely Laura's aunt won't get the money back. Laura is hoping to prevent similar situations and is encouraging others who've had the experience to speak up.
Don't feel shame having to come forward. It's okay. They're meant to basically trick you and make you feel afraid.
All right, welcome back to DC News Now. I'm Shanika Grimshaw.
And I'm Marielle Carbone. We continue to track prices for what you'll pay at 3 popular local supermarkets as families find ways to cut costs from that inflation.
Yeah, that's right. DC News Now's weekend anchor Ben Dennis is stretching your dollar. Back with another grocery price check. Ben, has anything changed?
Indeed, Marielle and Shanika. Answers are in the numbers. Walmart saw the least number of price changes in our list of essentials since 1 week ago. Giant with the most. What about Safeway? Stand by as we are sharing more calculations to help you decide where to fill up your next cart.
Down the aisle and up the shelves at the supermarket. Coupons could help lower the cost at the register. But that's not the end of the road. Price checking gives quick answers to where you'll pay less before leaving home. We're checking between Walmart, Giant, and Safeway. Why? The cost to feed 2 young kids every month, anywhere from $313 to $770, according to the latest USDA figures for low-cost meal plans to higher-cost plans. So, what's changed for 10 pantry essentials we've ID'd? According to lowest prices shown online to start the week. Avocados rose 14 cents at Walmart. Giant, 12 brown eggs up 60 cents. A value pack of chicken breast rose $1.70, and a 1-pound tray of ground beef is up 50 cents. Down there, though, avocados 34 cents cheaper. How about Safeway? A 12-ounce bag of broccoli is down 99 cents, and a boneless pack of pork chops rose $1 there. Walmart offers the lowest price for 8 of our 10 essentials, but grab that tray of ground beef at Giant to pay less, and boneless pork chops with the low price at Safeway.
But for the rest of the year, well, the feds predict that grocery prices will slightly increase. Another reason
Also new this morning, the West Springfield Narcotics Unit arresting a Connecticut man on drug charges on Monday. At around 6 p.m., officers arrested 47-year-old Renal Lee Horsler of Niantic, Connecticut, near the West Side Inn on Riverdale Street. That arrest was made following a weeks-long investigation. Horsler had over 1,000 bags of fentanyl in his possession.
Each man is behind bars after police found illegal drugs inside a car at a public park. Timmy Schwartz faces multiple charges connected to drug possession, trafficking, and distribution. Arrest warrants show police spotted a suspicious car parked in a handicapped space at Withers Swash Park last week. They state an officer talked to Schwartz at the park and saw what appeared to be marijuana in plain view. Officers then searched his car and found more than 100 grams of weed and 10 grams of methamphetamine. Investigators say Schwartz has a prior conviction for trafficking meth.
Virginia, where we're learning the name of a woman killed during Tropical Storm Debbie. State police say 36-year-old Stephanie Wishmeyer was inside her home when a tree fell. They and other agencies responded to the home in the Shenandoah community of Harper's Ferry. Her husband was also in the home. He was able to escape without injury.
Once they arrived, they found a large oak tree had in the rear of the residence had uprooted and actually fallen through the residence.
Again, her husband, Peter Twig, he was in a separate part of the home when that destruction occurred, and he did survive.
Potomac River. The work is just beginning on recovering from the mess left behind. Friday, we showed you this, a floating island of trash. Remember this? This was near the Watergate. A lot of you shared the images and our reporting, and today we're following up. Well, this is part of our commitment to reporting on the environment in our region, the good, the bad, and yes, the ugly. Here's environmental reporter Scott Broom with where all that trash has ended up.
Behind me here, dumpsters filled with debris,
pulled from the Potomac and Anacostia in the wake of Tropical Storm Debbie. The goal here is to get at least some of that floating trash island that formed Friday in the Potomac, which is now broken up, put here where it belongs. DC Water operates a fleet of 5 trash skimmer boats, and it's in the wake of a storm like Debbie where they really make a difference, according to John Lyle of DC Water. Here's part of our conversation as we witness the cleanup today.
We collect about 400 to 500 tons of trash and debris every year off the rivers using our skimmer boats. After a large storm like Debbie, it's really not unusual to see a large amount of floatable debris. So it can be driftwood or trash coming downriver on the Anacostia, the Potomac, here in the Washington Channel. And so what our floatable debris program does is to try to get as much of that off the river, off the waterways as possible. Obviously, it can be dangerous for boats, but also it's just visually unappealing to see trash on the rivers.
Well, you got the kayakers out here, like I said, just unsafe for everybody.
Lyle pointed out that DC is beginning to win the battle thanks to the opening of a huge underground tunnel complex near RFK Stadium that captures trash and sewage during storms underground before it spills. The captured runoff is then sent for treatment at Blue Plains.
With our new tunnels, with this storm, we were able to capture more than 100 million gallons of combined sewage that otherwise would have wound up in the Anacostia River. So the Clean Rivers Project, combined with our floatable debris program together, along with other efforts that are underway, are helping to really clean up the waterways and improve the water quality in the Anacostia, the Potomac, and Rock Creek.
Now, according to the river keepers on the Potomac and the Anacostia, the trash situation because of those tunnels and the skimmers is improving, except for one category. There are more floating plastic bottles than ever. One reason a lot of environmental advocates support the idea of a deposit on plastic bottles here in Washington.
On a boat fire in Newport News, we just learned. With new information on a boat fire in Newport News, we just learned that 2 people were hospitalized with significant burn injuries. This happened just before 10 a.m. Sunday in the James River. You could see from a distance that black smoke. The Newport News Fire Department tells us all 6 people on board jumped into the water to escape the flames. It was an off-duty Newport News firefighter that saw the smoke and came to their rescue. What sparked the fire is under investigation. Suffolk Fire and Rescue and Coast Guard crews were also called to help fight the fire.
messed up situation. I feel that we wasn't treated right.
Another power outage at Dosker Manor in downtown Louisville has residents fed up and ready for their time to move. You're watching Wave News at 11. I'm Noelle Friel. Dosker Manor is now working to restore power in the same building that experienced an outage just last week. Wave News reporter Alina Noakes spoke with residents who are tired of dealing with a building of problems that never seem to end.
This is the second time in just 2 weeks that residents in Dosker Manor's Building C are left with no lights, no way to cook, and no AC as they deal with a power outage in the stifling summer heat. As one resident told me, they're simply sick of it.
Hot.
That's the operative word for many residents at Dosker Manor working to stay cool after a power outage knocked out their AC. Some taking to the shady outdoors. Others to a cool-down station in a TARC bus parked along the curb. Authorities say a busted sprinkler in a 7th-floor apartment of Building C caused all the floors below it to flood before shutting down the power system.
On the 7th floor, it flooded all the way down, and it knocked all the lights out and everything, the elevator and everything. My stepmom's up on the 16th floor. Margaret Willis is up there. She can't get down. She's in a wheelchair, you know, hub around, and she's on oxygen.
This project property is extremely difficult to manage.
That was LMHA's Executive Director Elizabeth Strojan just last week when the same building was without power due to a water leak.
We're dealing with electrical systems that are very old, we're dealing with elevators that are very old, and we continuously have to make these kinds of emergency repairs.
For the 180 residents living in Building C and hundreds more across the campus, the constant repairs are getting old. One resident that lives on the 11th floor tells us he's having to climb the stairs with a swollen ankle. circle and now walk down water-covered hallways. He says he's sick of living in these conditions and is more than ready to move. LMHA emphasizing that sentiment in a statement, saying, quote, "We are committed to finding long-term solutions for Dosker Manor, including relocating residents to better housing as quickly as possible. This weekend situation highlights the urgency and importance of these plans." In a statement, saying, quote, "We are committed to finding long-term solutions for Dosker Manor, including relocating residents to better housing as quickly as possible. This weekend situation highlights the urgency and importance of these plans." Now, impacted residents are being provided food and water. LMHA says crews are still working to restore power. They estimate that it'll be back up and running by Sunday.
State police are searching for a Louisville man who's on the run. They say he's a suspect in a murder investigation in Floyd County, about 3.5 hours east of here. Police say 41-year-old Michael Colley of Louisville should be considered armed and dangerous. Please take a look at the picture. He is accused of killing 53-year-old Patrick Shepard in Floyd County, Kentucky. Shepard's cause of death is still under investigation, but witnesses reported Colley and Shepard were in a physical fight. Colley wasn't there when police arrived, and tonight the search continues. If you see Colley, call 911.
This is a Wave News Alert.
We thank you for joining us here on Wave News at 3. I'm Ward Jollis, and we begin with some breaking news. One of the men charged in the Crystal Rogers murder case has fired his attorney. Steve Lawson is charged with conspiracy to to commit murder and tampering with evidence. He appeared in Nelson County Court earlier this afternoon for a hearing to discuss whether or not his prior interviews would be used as evidence in the case. But the hearing took a shocking turn when Lawson himself spoke out asking to fire his attorney, Ted Lavitt. Lawson said he thinks Lavitt hasn't been doing his job.
I can't use his, I don't know what you call it, his counsel anymore, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't
I can't use his counsel anymore, sir.
Okay, are you saying that you're wanting a different attorney?
Yes, sir, that's exactly what I'm saying, sir.
I have done my best at this point in time without any conflict whatsoever concerning my client. And I believe that Mr. Lawson has been aware of what I've been doing on his behalf since he engaged me.
Notice Steve Lawson shaking his head there as Lavitt defends himself. Judge Sims granted Lawson's request to fire his attorney, so that means Lavitt is out, and the judge will now appoint a public defender to represent
is facing rape. An Ohio man is facing rape charges after investigating investigators found him with a missing 12-year-old from Georgia. Police say they arrested 34-year-old Antonio Agustin Alion from Dover at a Walmart parking lot in New Philadelphia. Police say the girl had been missing since May. The Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office said they helped Georgia investigators track him down. Officials say he's being charged with 2 counts of rape, gross sexual imposition, 2 counts of pandering sexually oriented matters involving a minor or impaired person, and interference with custody. He's currently at the Tuscarawas County Jail awaiting his next court date.
Street Market. Fire destroyed the brick building more than a year ago. There's now an emergency declaration because there's a rat infestation. A construction company will start fixing that problem tomorrow. There are no businesses operating in there yet. They're in a temporary tent and, of course, in the undamaged stone building at the market.
Be mindful. You know, give your family a hug. Life is short. Life is precious. Tell the ones you love that you love them so much. They need to hear it. You need to hear it. Know that wherever you are in the world, that I love you, that you are important, that you are special, you are needed. You are needed to get your shit together. You are needed to stop playing around. You are needed to stop wasting time. You are needed to get in shape. You are needed in so many capacities where you need to start operating in your excellence. No more excuses. No more excuses. What is going on, beloved? To where you can be the greatest version of you. I need you to keep you. I need you to keep looking and searching and finding you. Know who you are. Show thyself approved. If you are who you say you are, we need to stop allowing rape, sexual assault, and child molestation to be okay in our society as a people, as a collective. That this ain't okay. If you agree with me, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment. Your views, your thoughts, your opinions, your questions, your comments, your concerns. Because we need to keep that conversation going on so people can get a greater understanding that the things that have taken place and have been swept under the rug, we need to start discussing, and there needs to be implemented action behind that. For people that are rewarded for speaking up, and the people who are punished for doing the injustice. So I just wanted to leave y'all with that. And till next time, shalom.